All right, man. We got some cool things. We got some cool things to talk about, man.
Yeah.
A lot. So, number one, we got to pay homage right out of the gate. Right out the gate.
We're paying homage right out the jump, out the rip.
Yeah, we got to give it to our main man. He's the man of the day. Let me see if I can find him. All right, here we go. Call him the man of the hour, man of the day. He's the one everybody's talking about.
Put him up. Put him up.
There he is. There's our guy, right?
Just looks like a weasel, doesn't he?
All right. So listen, half the sports bettors in this country right now want to wring his neck, right?
Yeah.
Because it's getting out of control.
Not the only time, too.
Listen, we talked about Nelson last week, and that was really bad.
Yeah.
But the reason it's so bad right now is it happens so consistently with this guy. I find
us talking about it a lot with this guy.
We know his name. We shouldn't know his name, and it shouldn't be synonymous with.
Thank you.
A verb.
Thank you.
Oh, you Angel Hernandez. He acted like Angel Hernandez. When an umpire has a bad game, we make the comparison. Oh, he did that like Angel Hernandez.
Unanimously being known as the worst ump in the world is not happened by one or two things.
No, and it's crazy. I mean, listen, there's a cool story about this guy. Way back in the day, I knew some guys. I knew some umpires. I was in a conversation with some umpires at a bar. We were talking, since I'm a huge Red Sox fan back then, we were talking about the Red Sox Oakland A's series, in which Angel Hernandez actually called a foul ball a home run in a playoff game. It was a playoff game. He called it a home run. Now, this was before replay, but this was when the umpires, because the fans, the commentators replayed it when they're talking about it. It went to the right of the foul pole down the right field line. It shouldn't have been called a home run. He was doing the right field circling home run for the A's. The umpires all huddled together, came back out and like, no, that was a foul ball. So they called it a foul ball. They overruled. The other umpires got together, overruled Angel Hernandez. The umpires that I were talking to, this was during spring training that was going on in Arizona. So I was at a Tempe bar. Let me know that for the rest of that playoff series, Angel Hernandez refused to speak to the rest of his crew. He took it so personal.
Stubborn.
And his arrogance is so big, he wouldn't talk to the rest of the crew. They got the call right. The rest of the crew got the call right. He had the call wrong. That's who he is. And so I was on the Phillies yesterday. I wasn't watching it. I was doing something else. And I kept checking in and trying to get the score, trying to figure out, how is this game 0-0? What's 0-0? Are these guys just throwing BBs? What's going on here?
Similar to you, I kept peeping at the score every now and then, keeping tabs on it. And every time I was like, wait, no one scored yet? No, fourth inning, sixth inning, no one scored. It was in the ninth inning, no one scored yet.
And I couldn't figure. And then I didn't know about any of it until today. I'm like, oh, that makes sense. Now Angel Hernandez calling balls off strikes that are 6.5 inches outside the strike zone.
Yeah.
Historically, one of the worst calls in the history of MLB by missing by that much distance, and it's him. They've got to do something, right? Don't they got to do something here?
And I think they are. I think they have no choice but to. And I think, it sounds like a broken record. We're always talking about this. They're going to have to go to the automatic strike zone. It's just the only thing coming for baseball. Everyone sees. I mean, I'm not even saying just have the box like they show now. There's got to be another way for it to be an automatic strike or ball every time. It's consistent.
Here's where it just got a lot easier. If the catchers can now have something in their garb that signals to them that it was what pitch to call, why can't there be something in the umpire's ear that signals balls and strikes, and he just says strike or ball with his hands?
Right.
So why can't we we can do exactly what you're talking about. We have a test case right now.
Right.
With what they're doing this year with the catchers and the pitchers, so you can't steal signs. They could literally do the exact same thing, because in tennis they do it. They do it for when a serve misses, there's a beep.
That's got to be the same technology, wouldn't you think? That has to be
100%. Why can't they do this in baseball? Listen, the test cases are there. It's not like they can't do this. Who's holding this up? Is it the
That's the thing.
umpires?
Is it the motivation to have them control games the way they want to in certain spots? Because I would think that the end game was to get the call right no matter what, and they would do anything in their power to get the call right. So the fact that this isn't happened
Yeah.
yet, it just kind of makes me seem like
Listen,
there's some motive for keeping these guys who are blatantly making bad calls, a lot of them, and not any repercussions for these guys.
listen, sports betting is picking up across the country.
Yeah.
And we're going to get into some of the stuff that some other guys said, which I actually agree with. But with the venom that is going to start to come from the fans on the amount of missed calls.
Absolutely
To
right.
me, this is a best case scenario. The test case is there. Put the thing in the guy's ear, have it beep if it's a strike, or make it like groan if it's a ball, something.
Because
and
think
then
about
you're
what the
good.
product is really showing as. Like, you have your fan base, the people who watch your sport,
Yeah.
looking and seeing something, and
Yeah.
you're telling them they're not seeing the right thing.
Yeah.
Like, you're making them all out stupid. The
Now,
result's different to what we're seeing on the field. It's got to stop.
And here's the thing: the call that we're all talking about. To me, Schwarber should have swung the bat because that was close enough to where he should have swung the bat.
Yeah,
Now,
that actually
there
the
was
least egregious one.
that was the least egregious of
Yeah.
all of them. So when he gets kicked out, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking they did.
You hungry? Hey, Ma! Can we get some meatloaf?
Chaz, I think I'm okay. I had a bite right before I came over. Thank you.
You sure? You know what? I will have some meatloaf. Let's have some meatloaf.
You want some?
Yes. I knew you'd come. Hey, Mom! The meatloaf!
I think they were all really just getting along, saying, "Hey, come on over for dinner." Hey, I don't think tomorrow. You know what? I will come over for dinner. But listen, at the end of the day, get it right because
Get it right.
Sports betting is what's going to keep people more in tune with these games. And you're not going to reverse the trend that's going on now where sports betting is going to pick up across the country. You're not going to reverse that. So you better do something because now it's like, you know how social media magnified stuff? I think sports betting will now magnify mistakes even more.
Absolutely.
Than before it took off.
Name a sports bettor you know who bets every day and bets these sports on a regular basis. Tell you how corrupt everything looks.
Yeah.
I mean, it's plain as day, and it's got to change. I mean, the thing that's really hurting the people who are complaining is they keep going back no matter what. So at the end of the day, what are they really losing? But as a product, it has to change, and it's not just one or two sports. It's many of the sports.
Well, we're going to get into that too. But listen, the thing is, the game was 0-0. There's no way baseball. So we're going to go to in a second with the NBA and where MLB is. I think they're completely opposite ends of the spectrum because there's no way baseball would want a 0-0 game going into the ninth inning. Yeah. This is all on the power that the umpires union has in baseball and that they can't be held accountable for anything. Listen, this guy is a guy who was able to sue baseball and win because he wasn't an umpire for the World Series. He's known as the worst umpire in baseball, and he's able to sue because he's not able to do a World Series game.
Hell of a union, huh? Hell of a union.
That's how powerful. That's how powerful it is. So, listen.
It's a lot of old school to do with it, but keep going.
Let's jump to the other sport, the sport that it's as egregious, NBA. Yeah.
It's right? Really scripted theater. I mean, you could really see it. These guys are all professional athletes at the highest level. But come on, man. The data, the game, and the antics that change and the dynamics of how series unfold, it's almost so scripted theater, WWF, it's crazy. Last night, we had the Pelicans tie the series with the Suns. And listen, the Pelicans played their ass off. They wanted it. The crowd was very loud and energetic. Yeah. But the difference in referee calls, it's a physical game, both sides. How is one team going to the line 42 times and the other team going 12? It just doesn't make sense. It's not like they're not attacking the hoop the same way. That's just too egregious of a number gap that you can't say something was up with their intentions. You just can't. And it's crazy. It really is. It's unfortunate. No. It's a watered down product right now. It's not like the old NBA. And you can start to kind of predict how things are going to go. And especially like we said with the sports betting world, you see where the money is, and then go look at what happens in an NBA game. It's sick.
So, young Skywalker, I see you're finally starting to see what I've seen with the NBA now for about 15 years.
I mean, I've never totally disagreed with you. Of course,
it's not about the competition anymore. The NBA is a marketing engine.
Yeah.
It's why I won't bet on any NBA games. It's a marketing engine.
And I'm speaking for all the real NBA bettors out there. I know you feel the same way that what I'm talking about. It's a disgrace.
It is. Listen, so there was a game, not this past game, but the game before that with the Celtics and the Brooklyn Nets. Jason Tatum went to the basket. It was a bad foul call, but he was shooting. So in order for them to fix their mistake, they said, oh, now take it out on the side. You can't do that.
Yeah.
You can't say it's a foul in the act of shooting and then be like, you know what, we made a mistake. Here, take it out on the side.
It's the same thing with the charge and blocks. The same game, Giannis yesterday had a charge not called in the first quarter. They just didn't call anything. The second quarter, same thing, a little bit less. Now it's a charge. I mean, it's just what are we doing?
Did Klay Thompson get called for an offensive foul?
Oh my God, you saw that on the inbound?
When he went around
all
the guy?
he did was make some little, separation, and they called it offensive foul. Like it's just they do whatever they want, man. They call the most craziest things. They tee up people. The injuries that happen in the NBA are so fugazi. I feel like it's just look at this Ben Simmons situation. It's a shit show. Yeah. It's a fucking shit show.
Ben Simmons is wholly different. Listen,
how soft do you have to be, man?
Listen, here's what they should do with Ben Simmons. Now that COVID is kind of in our rear view, let's have Big Pharma develop something that can fix him, because if it can fix him, it can probably help a lot of other people. Because I think it's mental. I think it's all mental softness right at this point. This is not a guy that wants to play basketball. He quit on his team at LSU.
You have to have a fire in you to get out there, not just wait for someone to push you out there on the court like a kid. You should want to be out there right now with your teammates. You quit on LSU, you quit on the Sixers, and now you quit on the Nets before even being a Net. I mean, it's absolutely disgusting. You're scared. You're scared of the crowd. So it's unbelievable, man.
Tell me how you really feel.
I mean, no, this same guy is asking for $20 million back, and bro, you haven't played in over a year. What are you doing, bro?
Listen, that's the thing. Bro. Listen, he's.
And I don't agree that right now is the time to bring him back. So I'm not even on that tip. Like I want to see him right now. It's not. This is the worst time for him to come join the team. I'm just saying, man, what are you doing? But you should have.
I think they're making a mockery of the Nets. I think the whole Nets organization is making a joke out of itself right now by putting it out there that he's going to come back. No, he's not going to come back. No, he's going to come back. No, he's not.
So what? If they win tonight, then he's going to come back game 5.
Listen,
like, I mean,
this should have been scrapped from the get-go. If you're not on our, if you're not on our team at the end of the year, you're not on our team.
Exactly.
Yeah. There's no reason to do.
I don't understand how they leak. He's going to be ready for game 4. What? Game 4? The team's down 3-0. Now he's not going to show up because he's scared that he'll be the scapegoat now if they lose. So then what? If they win and it's game 5, you're going to come down in Boston now? You're going to come back? No, what's the antics? Why are you saying you might play? I don't get it. I just don't
Bring him back. You're struggling right now scoring against a great defensive team. Bring him back, a guy that won't shoot, so other people can double off of him.
Yeah.
And then you're just gonna make the Celtics.
You're not gonna make the Nets. You're not gonna be a savior out there. You're not gonna make the Nets offense click all of a sudden. You're not that guy.
Help them. So listen, you brought something up, and I didn't even realize that Alvarado, Georgia Tech stud, was over on.
He just got fired. I love him.
Man, I didn't realize he was over there doing all these antics and stealing the ball, sneaking up.
You know his nickname, right?
Nah.
It's genius. All right, so you know the video game Grand Theft Auto, right? This guy's name is Grand Theft Alvarado. It's sick. Let's go. Because he sits there, he sneaks up on you, and you steal. Yeah, it's actually clever. Yesterday, the Pelican fans were all chanting Jose, like at the soccer venues.
Yeah.
Pretty electric, pretty good stuff. And he's got that team fired up. He's that pulse. He's who Pat Beverly thinks he is. He's who Pat Beverly thinks he is.
So the guy went out there. Now, listen, he did great things. But there was another thing. That wasn't 8 seconds on Chris Paul. That 8-second call that Alvarado got.
Short whistle for sure.
That got there way too quick. I
mean, I'm not saying he would have crossed, but the whistle came way too quick.
And was that a Scott Foster game? That wasn't a Scott Foster.
He was in Toronto yesterday. And look what happened. Toronto doesn't get swept. I thought for sure Toronto would just pack it in. Why would they want to go back to Philly? But listen,
Well, that's
they
why
held
we
them
saw
off.
that stat. So
But again,
it's 0-14.
Harden looks bad, man. People need to say Harden does not look
Yeah.
the same. And now Embiid has torn ligament in his thumb. He didn't play well. Don't write out the Raptors yet, guys. I mean, the Philly doesn't have a good history with these guys advancing in the playoffs. And there's a lot of
So
turmoil now.
Harden's another guy that struggles when Foster does his games. So Harden, the stat is on him is 1-8. So Chris Paul's 0-14 when Foster does his
Sick.
games. Harden is 1-8. The one win against Chris Paul's team.
Had to give it to somebody. He probably weighed the pros and cons.
Yeah. So I'm wondering. Again,
Foster's in Brooklyn tonight.
They're getting what they want. The NBA is getting what they want because for 15 years.
All you got to do is really dig up who do you think the league wants tonight, and that's
what's best for the league. What's best for the league? What keeps the TV ratings? Where are their ratings? What's best for the league? And listen, it's in plain sight. The NBA has not been about competition in a long time, and guys like Shaq, guys like Barkley that have and Michael Jordan that have teams are out there in the forefront. They can't say this stuff because they're paid to go out and promote it, but yet they kind of talk about it. That's when they say that today's game isn't like, listen, this has nothing, Instagram, Facebook, all these social media things, the TV ratings and the contracts are off the charts now. It's not about true competition. It's not.
And
it's about marketing.
And I give Chris Paul credit because yesterday after the game, he mentioned that. He said, hey, listen, there's an old NBA and there's a new NBA. He goes, I actually played at the end of the old NBA, in my opinion. So I actually played in both. And the difference is mind-boggling. He even said that yesterday.
Yeah, it's 100%. And so when all the people, again, I'll go back to the guy that I can't stand, which is LeBron James, most overrated athlete of all time. That's why. Because this is a different dynamic. This is about who has the most people on their Instagram
They gave
page.
them that chip in the bubble. Gave it to them.
100%. Remember, they were down 3-1. Guess what? Draymond Green got suspended for a game.
Yeah.
Right? Draymond Green got suspended for that game. They came back and they won one on the road. It's about Instagram. It's about followers on Instagram. Who has the power? Who can drive people to your product? That's really what the world of the NBA.
And look what they're doing with the Dallas Mavericks because they do want Luka to be next. I do think they want Luka Doncic to be one of their next superstars. They're secretly going to move him past Utah. They're secretly moving him past Utah right now.
Think about it. Think about how quickly they've jumped off the Zion Williamson campaign. That was a huge campaign for the second half.
That's another story. I don't understand why they're not playing him. Play him. I don't want to hear that he's not ready. He's dunking through his legs in pregame warm-up, tweeting he's been ready. So there's some kind of disconnect there.
Because he's not going to live up to the hype, but yet he has a lot of followers on his socials page.
Zion's been awesome when he's on the court. He's not
going to live up to the hype, and they know it. They've got to keep him on the low key because he's not going to live up to the hype. And if he's not going to live up to the hype, keep the hype train going for him.
I'm not asking for him to go out there and do what a leader of a franchise type thing. I think you just got to give him 15, 20 minutes just to put a threat to Phoenix. Listen, you're not supposed to win this series. It's all house money right now. Why not add a different dimension? Now, you're 2-2. You've proven you could beat them, especially without Booker.
Would you throw a wrench? Would you throw a wrench into the cog right now that they're doing? Because
I would at least put him out there.
Isn't McCollum
see what he has? I would at least put him out there and see what he has. Honestly,
man, I don't know.
It can't hurt you. If he doesn't look good, you bench him and that's it. You gave it a try. You tell people you didn't like how he looked. You didn't want to, further hinge or whatever. You got to put him out there if he's telling everybody he could play. I mean, Zion could really make you a real threat this season. I'm dead serious. New Orleans is a talented team. They're not a typical 8. They peaked late. They got their rookies really playing high-level ball. They traded for McCollum. They got McCollum and Ingram. They got Valanciunas, who's the difference maker in the paint. They are built great. They have a great coach. They're not an 8 seed. So they're playing with house money right now on a fun ride. Bring Zion in and change it and turn it up a notch. You will knock out Phoenix if you get anything close to Zion at a great level. You're knocking Phoenix out. I'm telling you that right now. You have them right now on the reel. You gotta knock them out. They got 2 games at home still. Add a different dynamic to what you're doing. Zion's special. That's all I'm saying. Zion's special. It's crazy.
And what are your thoughts on the other? Does Philly close out Toronto tonight at home?
I think they do. The only way they don't is if Embiid his thumb really bothers him to the point where he literally is not good. Last game, he only had, 12, 13 points, which is nothing. He averages 30-something, led the league in scoring this year. If the thumb is stopping him from being able to score,
Where's
Philly
Foster?
could be in
Wait,
trouble.
where is Foster
Foster's
tonight?
in Brooklyn tonight, making
He's
sure
their
that they get back
closer.
to
He's
Boston.
the NBA closer.
He's
the
making sure that
closer in
series
the
gets back to
NBA.
Boston. No? You agree?
Do you remember the movie The Cooler, where the guy would walk around the casino? It was Macy. He'd walk around the casino, and if there was a hot player, he'd go stand next to him because the guy never won anything. And so the casino hired him to be a cooler. He'd go to stand next to the person and start betting, and the guy would start losing.
Mush him?
He did that. Yeah. And so now here we go. I think Foster.
I don't think they want this to be a sweep. They need more revenue here. They need that atmosphere in Boston. They need Kyrie in Boston again. I think tonight the Nets get it done. I don't think the Celtics are going to give that full 48 minute. They know they have, 3-0 lead. No one's ever came back in a series in the NBA down 3-0. They're going to want to go back home and knock them out. I just think that if Brooklyn slugs around and lets Boston in the game late, they'll go and steal it and try to knock them out. But that will be on Brooklyn. I think if Brooklyn just comes out with energy early, they will win tonight's game.
I think the world wants to see Kyrie Irving have to go to Boston Garden for a closeout game. Because can you imagine if it's a 20-point game? Okay, start of the 6 minutes to go in the game. Celtics are up by 25.
Oh, the chance and the things being said.
Where does he go? Does he finish the game? Does he sit on the
walk
bench?
To the back locker room?
Does he walk back to the locker room? What happens there?
What if it's a close game? What if it's a close game down the stretch? That's just good television all the way around.
They're going to they will have security guards all around the court because
God forbid they put fucking Ben Simmons in that game. Oh my God.
Can you imagine
I cannot imagine that because it won't be about basketball for a lot of part of that game. That really won't be. The crowd will be focused in on Kyrie and Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons is mentally, he's too weak to step on the court. Is he going to perform on the court with everyone bashing him? Nah.
What about if he's just listed in the lineup? If he's listed just in the lineup, could this be an over-under of a shot? Will he attempt a shot?
That's an interesting bet there.
Right?
And a shot meaning no layup or dunk.
Just attempt. Yeah. No. Anything.
No, but even if it's a floater, it counts. But not a layup or a dunk. Not a layup, because we all know he's tall and he can lay it and dunk it. I mean, I could lay it and not dunk it, but I could.
But can you imagine that? And maybe he gets 2 minutes of playing time and people are rooting for it. So I'm trying to remember the.
And I know all the money's going to be coming in on Boston now. Because listen, game 1, it was kind of split, but more were on the Brooklyn Nets as a dog. Game 2, they're bouncing back. They're not going down 2-0. Got killed. Game 3, they're home now. They're not going down. Got killed. Now everyone's churning ship and saying, Brooklyn's done. Boom. Now all the money's hitting Boston. This is where Brooklyn wins. That's why Foster's in that building. That's what I believe. So listen,
where I was going to go with that is there was a journalist that came out and started talking about how sports betting is making fans more aggressive with the players, which is 100% true.
I mean, it's natural. I mean, these guys are what makes you or loses you money.
So are we going to be in 5 years? Are we going to be where there's barriers, almost like soccer? When you see soccer in foreign places where there's a fence between the fans and the field, do you think we're going to have to get to that in the NBA? Because literally, if people,
it will probably take another big.
Think about a guy that has 20 grand on the first quarter over under, and think about him being at the stadium,
and the guy misses 2 free throws to give him the win.
Yeah, I could literally, man. We've seen some stuff in sports books where guys, they go over the top and stuff happens in sports books that people don't realize. And
because when you're playing with people's money and their emotion like that, it turns bad quick. You know what I'm saying? The anger, everything that comes with it. So and we're starting to see it. And we are starting to see it on Twitter more and more, how fans are kind of coming at players with certain, even bets a lot. And the players keep having to come back. I don't care about your parlays. I don't care about your bet. But they're getting death threats. Like, it's starting already. So
so there needs to be. That's what I'm trying to understand. How is this going to affect right now? I mean, listen, sports betting is going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And there's going to be a lot of adjustments. But there's too many guys out there that are doing it that shouldn't be doing it. Instead of enjoying it, they're
trying to get rich off it. people now are starting to get rich off it. You know how people do when they find out something could get you a lot of money, they're going to be addicted to just that, to chase for
Yeah.
that money.
Yeah.
So
This guy brought this up, and I thought it was a valid point. But now Visson is countering him, and these other TikTok clowns that call themselves professionals are all saying you're crazy. No, he wasn't crazy. He's 100% right that as sports betting picks up, the aggression from the fans is going to get worse and worse, and they're
Couldn't agree
going.
more.
The leagues are going to have to do something about it.
Yeah,
and
are.
that is going to be the dynamic. I think
And
that's going to shape a lot of things.
I'm sure
It's
they will.
going to be
They have
interesting.
to protect themselves in that aspect. So I'm sure we will eventually see an incident that goes too far, and they will have to do something about it. But it is coming.
So with tonight, in the NBA tonight, you got Brooklyn -1.
I think Brooklyn's going to
eventually
get a win at home. They're going to extend the series. Going to go to Boston for that whole fun debacle. Yes, I do think Scott Foster's there. Brooklyn will win tonight.
And is Luka playing in Dallas tonight?
Yes.
All right. So
and they're
Dallas,
home in it. Dallas is the play. I don't care
Dallas,
what. Utah is just they're not the same team. They got a lot of going on there. Dallas is they're just a better run team. I mean, they don't have the better talent. Don't get me wrong, but now Luka's back, and Luka's special. And he did it. He had a knockout punch last game too on the road. That's how special he is in the clutch. He always makes that step back three. But it just so happened that Donovan Mitchell got a good play. The kid missed the 2 free throws for Dallas. So I'm sure he's going to be hungry to come back tonight. That crowd's going to be backing him. That's a tough place to play. I think Dallas wins tonight, goes up 3-2, heading back to Utah. And what's the other game? The Philly game, right? I do think it's over tonight.
Yeah, I mean, how is Powell? Powell missing foul shots.
Or else they're up 3-1, and they only had Luka in one of the games. It's kind of remarkable. They're 2-2, and they just had Luka back. So they should have been swept or 3-1 right now for sure. They're probably going to win this series. Jalen Brunson has emerged as to a top guy you have to worry about. So they have enough to get by Utah right now with the way they're playing.
All right. So listen, since the NBA looks kind of obvious tonight, I want to jump into some baseball because to me, there's a lot of cool
not
things.
A lot of baseball tonight, but I do have.
Listen, I think there's a strange line on the board. I'm trying to figure it out. So the Red Sox are going to Toronto.
Yeah.
Why is that line only -125 right now for Toronto?
They got their aces on the mound and their division rivals.
Yeah, but I believe, I could be wrong, but I don't think Cora is going to be there. He's tested positive for COVID 2 days ago. You got JD Martinez that didn't make the trip. I think there's Paul Licky didn't make the trip. So you got a couple guys that didn't make the trip because of,
JD Martinez is the DH, so they now get to plug in Bobby Dahl back in the DH. I think he's a good young hitter.
No,
I like him. He struggled early, but he's a good player. Trust me.
He's not that young.
Yeah,
he's in his third or fourth year. That's not young. You got to be hitting by now.
This is his third year.
Yeah, you got to be hitting by now. So listen, I'm surprised. This to me looks like you jump all over Toronto.
Well, you already know where I'm going in that game. So
yeah, I mean, listen, I think you jump all over Toronto. It's actually gone up 5. It's at -130 now.
I mean, let's just jump into our sport hitters pick. I'm not hiding anything with you. You could probably guess my picks. I preach that these 3 teams are the best teams in baseball all year. I think they're the best teams right now going forward. And tonight they all have their ace on the mound or 1A ace on the mound. So I'm going with the Mets, Dodgers, and the Blue Jays. The 3 best teams in baseball.
All right. So Mets, Dodgers, Blue Jays.
Scherzer, Buehler, and Blue Jays got Berrios.
So I went a little different, and I'm assuming I'm going to have a better opportunity to beat you. Yeah, I do.
Anyone from a mile away who follows the show or knows me or you knows you were picking Gibson at home tonight. Yeah. That's no surprise.
100%.
That was already checked. When you opened up the app, that was already one of the games picked.
100%, man. And then I jumped on the Red Sox. I jumped on the Blue Jays just because I saw them play in Tampa yesterday. Now they're missing Cora, they're missing JD, they're missing Paul Lecky. Guys aren't making the trip. Some guys are making the trip. Some guys aren't making the trip. You're going from Tampa to Toronto and playing the first game. I don't know. I get it. It's of all these, a good pitcher for him. But like you said, at the beginning of the season, Barrios isn't a bad pitcher. He hasn't pitched great, but he's got the ability to throw.
Got the ability to pitch
Yeah,
great. He
yeah,
could pitch good
yeah.
tonight. I expect him
So
to pitch good tonight, actually.
I really like that play. And then, I got Gibson at home. And then the third game was a tough one, but I went with the Angels at home. And it was more so betting against the Guardians.
Guardians leaving New York, going West Coast, same night.
Yeah. But even though they got a stud on the mound,
They got one of the
Beaver.
best pitchers on the mound.
Yeah.
But the Angels, I think, have the lineup to kind of any little thing that's not 100% with the, because the pitcher's going to be a little tired. They just traveled literally 7 hours across the country. They played last night in a hostile New York atmosphere.
And guess who's heating up? Trout. Trout's heating up, man.
And they got a lot of those little guys, the new guys, the Walshes, the Fletchers, all those little guys that they're hitting well. Rendon's actually heating up too. So you got Ohtani, Trout, Rendon to deal with. The Angels are starting to get hot. I like the Angels tonight. I actually looked at the Angels tonight. I'm not gonna lie, but thought the Dodgers mismatch was too much to overcome. So I gotta go with them. Scherzer's from I think he's from Missouri. I think so. I'm not 100% sure. I think that's his hometown. He's gonna be ready to rock tonight. And like I said before, Blue Jays all day. Blue Jays is my team to go all the way in the American League. So I'm going to ride them all year.
All right. So listen, one of the things that we have going is this bet for the World Series. Obviously, you're a big Mets fan. So I went back and I had to go back and listen to it because I thought it was one way. You thought it was another. I was saying to win the World Series and you were saying to get to the World Series.
Yeah. Represent the NL is what my bet was. That's what I was talking. I think they're going to get there.
Man.
So what do you want to do here? Because we got to clear this up. I don't want.
I think we clear it up. I think we'll take a. So here's the thing. I think what we'll do.
We'll take a little break because we're gonna let's hype up the. I got to add to this. We got to add some things to this.
I think we'll let other people decide. I think on Thursday night we're doing our draft live from Duffy.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's see what people got to say.
We're going to have some interaction going because we will do TikTok live. During that time, and we'll bring up some MLB, even though it'll be the NFL draft, we'll be able to cut away. If some of the teams, when they're picking 16, 17, 18, take their 7, 8, 9 minutes. And unless it's Green Bay, my rants won't last that long. So
we have a fun Green Bay prop too. We're going to be.
We do. All right. So now that we're talking about, listen, Thursday night's the night. We're going to be coming to everybody live. We're going to be at Duffy's in Tampa.
Come join us if you're in the area.
We're giving away tickets to the Tampa Bay Lightning first round playoffs. We're giving away some gift cards while we're there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
A lot of
fun. Here's one of the props. Quarterbacks picked in the first round, 3.5 over and under. If you think you know this answer, jump in the draft contest. It's that simple.
Make yourself some money while you have fun watching the draft.
Yeah, and so we're having that, and then tomorrow I think we have a new release that we're going to be talking about tomorrow. But today, what are your thoughts on the draft coming up, man?
They're saying Hutchinson right now is not going to be the number one pick.
Who are they saying? The offensive lineman?
No, they're saying the dude from Georgia.
The offensive lineman.
It's
an offensive lineman.
Is it?
He's an offensive. Yeah, it's not even a defensive lineman. It's an offensive lineman.
Interesting. Is that one of the props we have? Is it offensive?
It is. Line? No, it's will the first round be offense or defense? Offensive lineman or defensive lineman. So one of the props that we have is offensive lineman versus defensive lineman. It has to be one of those two. It's not going to be a quarterback. It's not going to be a running back, and it's not going to be a receiver.
Yeah.
Right. So it is one of the props that we have, and we've got favored defensive linemen because I thought it would come down to either Hutchinson or Thibodeau. But now people are swaying back and forth, and another prop that we're going to add is will the people move up in the first round? Listen, taking an offensive lineman that high has never really worked out, right? Has it?
No,
Tony Mandarich didn't work out. When was the last offensive lineman taken first, and how did that go?
I can't think off the top, but I think you're right. I think it's been a while since like a really, really solid. I think last year they had a couple good ones. I think last year kind of brought back that first round talent at offensive lineman. There was like 2 or 3 taken I really liked. But no, I think it's definitely going to be Trayvon Walker. No, the thing is, they're saying it's Trayvon Walker. That's what I thought. Trayvon Walker's going 1, they're saying. He's a defensive end from Georgia.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
It's not Walker. The guy's name was Wyatt in 99. Who's Trayvon Walker? He's not the best defensive end there. Wyatt and
No, Trayvon
Johnson
Walker
was
has got all this late buzz, and they're supposedly saying he's going one. You're talking about Evan Neal. Evan Neal's an offensive tackle from Alabama who's a top prospect.
Oh, man, defensive end.
They got the NC State. You remember the NC State offensive lineman, Iquanu? But yeah, they got this guy going number one, man. Trayvon Walker from Georgia.
He's not even the guy that I thought was the best.
That's
the
why I
nose
thought
tackle,
it was kind of
the nose
shocking.
tackle.
I thought it was shocking. Yeah, no, the nose tackle is the guy I love in this.
Jordan Davis.
Jordan Davis. He's going to go probably top 15. I don't know about top 5.
That guy's like Ndamukong Suh. He's like the strongest guy I've seen since.
And he ran a 4.6 40 at that size.
Listen, and what they say, you can't take a tackle number one. Who's been the defensive player of the year the last 2 years? Aaron Donald. Yeah. So why wouldn't you? And he is the reason the Rams won the Super Bowl.
Oh, whoever gets him is going to get a steal.
Yeah, you built the team around him, right?
Oh, Aaron Donald, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
and he definitely changes the game from a spot up front. That's one of the most important positions. Disrupting the front of the offensive line.
Does Jacksonville have 2 picks in the first round or just 1?
I know the Giants and the Jets do. I think Jacksonville might. Let's see.
Because they get Etienne back this year. So now you got another weapon for Lawrence.
Right. And they just signed Christian Kirk.
They need a receiver and they need an offensive lineman. Because their defense wasn't bad last year. They actually had a decent defense.
No, they only have one first rounder.
Man, so if I was them, I might think about trading it.
And remember, they just signed a good offensive lineman, Scherf from the Redskins.
From Tampa.
From the Redskins. And they just re-signed Cam Robinson. So I think offensive linemen should be off the board for them. I think they should go out and get one of these defensive linemen. And supposedly now it's Walker. That's who I'm hearing. I mean, obviously I'm no draft expert. I'm not no Mel Kiper.
Mel Kiper? Is it Mel Kiper or Todd?
I mean, it was on the bottom of ESPN, so I know someone creditable said it.
All right, let's see what Mr. Angry's got.
I mean, they said right now live on, let's say, FanDuel right now live, it's plus 150 for Hutchinson, minus 120 for Walker. So he's now the favorite to go 1.
Mm-hmm. I wonder what Mr. Angry's got. Mr. Angry. All right, so we're gonna have to look into Mr. Angry and then also Todd McShay, see what they've got for their mocks. But you know what? Let's come out with our own mocks for tomorrow. We'll throw those props up in the app tonight. We'll come up with our own mocks for tomorrow.
Okay.
Let's rock this thing out, and then
I'm gonna bring my mock to the Thursday event too, just to have in front of me, because always good to see how many you get right or wrong around this time of year. I remember that one year, the year Tua and Herbert came out, we were pretty good with that mock. That was
we had a pretty good battle in the draft challenges, and it was
sure.
The stuff came down to, I think, the ACC versus the SEC at the very, very end.
Yeah.
So it was a lot of fun. So I can't pit my brain around what the Giants are going to do.
They got 2 top 10 picks, right?
Yeah, but they make so many mistakes. They make too many mistakes.
So right now, I have them picking a cornerback, Stingley or Gardner. I also have the Jets picking a cornerback, Gardner. I have the Jets going for Gardner, because then they can get their receiver at 10, either London or the kid from Ohio State, Wilson. One of those guys.
Won't they take Olave?
Garrett Wilson is going to go before Olave.
Well, isn't Wilson projected to go 6th?
That's what I'm saying. If he's there, if he's not there, they're going to go London at 10. Okay.
Interesting.
A lot of interesting. Yeah. I definitely think someone's trading up. I definitely think. And you asked about the quarterbacks. You said 3.5 in the first round.
Yeah,
I'm going under. I only think there's two quarterbacks in this draft that are first round, worthy. So the fact that I get an extra one, I can still get under.
Pickett and the kid.
Pickett and Willis.
Pickett and the guy from Liberty. Yeah, Willis.
Pickett and Willis. Anyone else can go to the third. I don't want to hear Desmond Ridder. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to hear the guy from Howell from North Carolina. Those guys are not going first round. So I don't see how they get 4 into the first round. I think the under is a good, solid play.
Well, there's actually projected to be 4 right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's the number one position
sports.
in sports, the quarterback. It's the most important position. But this year, nah, I would wait. You can get these quarterbacks later
Your
on in
team
the
should
draft.
take a quarterback. Your team
No,
should take a quarterback and
no,
cut their
no.
losses.
We're gonna
No.
go Kyle Hamilton. That's why I project. We're gonna go. Last time we took a guy
Safety?
from the Irish, safety, Harrison Smith. He's the
Yeah.
next Harrison Smith. Kyle Hampton could do it all. He was actually projected to be the top player in this draft last year, so it could be a steal where we get him. But I'll be cool with him, Stingley, or Gardner, which I don't think we're gonna get Gardner or Stingley.
Stingley from LSU?
Yeah, so that's who we need. We need a secondary guy. We're solid everywhere else, honestly. And Kirk Cousins isn't our problem. He's not.
No, and listen. The best thing about the Vikings is the division they're in.
Yeah.
It's the best thing about the Vikings.
Yeah. The snakehead.
Listen, if I'm Jacksonville, I would trade the first-round pick just so I could move into the Central. Hey, can we move into the NFC Central?
NFC North.
NFC North. Can we move into their division, please? I mean, what's next?
Hey, listen, with all these receivers wanting out, I'm hearing AJ Brown wants out of Tennessee too. They could easily.
Why does he want out of Tennessee? That's a good spot for him. Where's he going?
But just listen to this. If they don't bring him back and he leaves, they go from the number 1 seed to missing the playoffs. That's how crazy that is. And I'm not saying AJ Brown's worth that big of a drop, but I'm telling you that'll happen.
I keep going back to this. You got guys coming out of the woodworks now since Tyreek Hill's contract trying to tell people they can catch a football. You got Terrell Owens going and catching a ball in like a basketball stadium in front of 10 people.
In a YMCA league.
Yeah, in the YMCA playing. And you got somebody else just said they were still in shape and could come back. Obviously, we're going to hear from who's the Cowboys guy from Oklahoma State?
Michael Irvin? Oh, no, Des Bryant.
Des Bryant's gonna, we're going to hear his name come up again. There's just going to be
Jerry Rice thinks he could play still.
Listen,
he's probably in good enough shape.
Listen, when Jerry Rice played, he didn't go across the middle. He went across the middle and caught the ball when you could hit somebody.
Yeah, I
actually think Jerry Rice probably could come back and play, not anywhere close to where he was, but he doesn't.
I think he could run. I think he could run routes and play a game. You'd have to sub out more often, but I think he could still go out there and be productive.
Let me tell you something. Cooper Kupp played in the 90s or the 80s. He wouldn't last a season because he would get hit.
Yes.
When you cross the middle, you don't have to worry about getting hit anymore. You used to have to worry about getting. Imagine Rodney Lott. Rodney Lott probably couldn't even play right now. He'd be kicked out of every game. He would hit somebody. He'd be kicked out of the game.
I feel like the last era of hard hitting was Sean Taylor when we lost the great Sean Taylor. Yeah. He was the last great hitting guy that would not let you come across the middle. And since then, the league kind of got soft with the way that they throw penalties and they protect everybody.
Can't hit anybody.
Yeah.
So it's insanity. But listen, I'm looking forward to this. I mean, everything's getting
last week in NHL. We're gonna get popping into the NHL playoffs coming up. This week's gonna be great.
What happened in the Rangers Bruins game?
3-1 Bruins.
Yeah.
They won the game. The Rangers let them win, so that we had the easier path in the playoffs.
That would be playing the Bruins. So that would be playing the Bruins.
Yeah. We want to see you when it counts. We don't care about that. Yeah, we're gonna have a big rivalry there, baby.
Sounds like there's
nothing like Jersey Joe versus Mitch, baby. Let's get it.
There's another side bet.
Oh yeah, definitely. If we see the Bruins in the first round, let's get it. We get a big bet going.
All right. So. All right, so we're on tonight for our challenges, and it was a weird weekend because I beat you in the NBA and you beat me in MLB, so we were going in the twilight zone for a little while for some reason. Doesn't make sense.
Re-say who your 3 picks again? Phillies.
I got the Phillies tonight. I got the Blue Jays, and I got the Angels.
And you got the Angels out west, and I got the Blue Jays as well. So scratch that off, and then I got the Mets and the Dodgers. 3 best teams in baseball. Get her done.
So I'm definitely rooting against the Mets. We're getting closer to that haircut, and I get to root against them every day. And we're gonna let people.
You're gonna lose a lot. You're gonna root against them a lot, and you're gonna be disappointed a lot this year.
They got a decent team, but it's only one. They're only one injury away from being right behind.
We might already have that injury on it. We'll see.
We do need to talk about something since we're talking about baseball. We got to talk about this because it is historic right now. What's going on with the Reds? Yesterday, they won a game. I started thinking from a betting standpoint, Should we do
They
daily
own
props?
Wainwright. That's the only reason they won that game yesterday. They really do own Wainwright.
Well,
Those
Wainwright
numbers
is
don't
old.
lie. Yeah.
Listen, Wainwright throws the ball like, first of all, that's another thing. Wainwright throws the ball 85. His fastball is 85, and he throws a changeup at like 75.
Right. So if
You
you
got-
guys already have career epic numbers against a guy and he throws this slow right now, that's the game you're going to get at home.
Yes. And then the other guy that's doing that right now is Rich
But
Hill.
what?
Rich
What
Hill,
are they? 3-15 now or some shit?
Yeah. They just won their third game.
Unbelievable.
And it's historically bad. 3-13. They've scored 43 runs in 16 games.
Gee, that's less than
Three.
three. Yeah, it's less than three.
It's less than 3 per game. And they've given up.
And they're 84. In a bandbox.
84.
Mind
so
you, they play in a bandbox.
Yes. And they've given up 84. Now, the Nationals have given up 100, but they've given up 84 runs, and they're only 16 games in. This team's not – we might be looking at a team in August.
Not to get the 40 wins. This team might not win 40 games this year.
In August, they might be at 20 to 22 wins. Isn't that insanity?
It's kind of crazy when you think about it that way. I hope that's not the case, but geez, because that's just awesome. Look, which team needs to trade for A.J. Brown the most? Falcons. Bro, it's crazy.
The Falcons need about 10 things before they're even going to be competitive.
Yeah,
Let's not forget the division.
Who's their quarterback right now? They went and got Mariota.
Yeah, they got Mariota, but they got somebody else. They traded for another guy.
They got to draft somebody, bro. That's a team who needs to draft somebody. And I'm telling you right now, I love Willis. I think he's going to be special. But I also love Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett reminds me of what Herbert is.
Willis was part of that football game that I thought was one of the greatest college football games I ever saw.
Against Coastal.
Coastal Carolina.
Yeah.
One of the greatest college bowl games I've ever watched. That was a phenomenal
I loved
game.
watching Willis in college. I'm not going to front. I bet on them a lot because of him. Liberty did me well with Willis at quarterback.
That game, I remember exactly where I was watching that game.
I remember we were on the phone when we were watching.
I was in Circa, and at the same time that game was going on was also the Raiders Dolphins.
Yes,
crazy,
Thursday night game. Yeah, with Fitzpatrick.
It was the crazy pass.
His helmet got pulled down. Yeah. I remember that.
Those happened. Those crazy plays all happened in 2-3 minutes of each other, and yeah, it's absolutely insane. But all right, man. Listen, I'm getting.
Listen, I'm hyped up. I don't want to say too much. Draft this Thursday. We're going to be live for you at Duffy's in Tampa Bay. I hope you guys can come and join us. We got a lot of stuff to give away. It's going to be fun. If you're in the area, come see us. We're your boys.
Man. Yeah, we're going to have a good time. All right,
man. And then tomorrow we'll have our mock draft ready, right?
We will have the mock draft ready.
We'll have our mock for at least the first round. Only the first round.
We'll do the first round tomorrow. We'll have it ready. Well, let's go Blue Jays. And then let's go Gibson.
Mets and Dodgers, baby. Let's get it.
Gibson. All right, take care.